Well, they did what the rumors said they were going to do. There's a lot to unpack. And this is about the dumbest move I could have ever imagined the BBC doing. I thought the rumor was false because I thought there's no possible way this is going to be real. But it turns out that they did it. Billie Piper is now the doctor. Ncuti Gatwa had regenerated into her at the very end of this. It was a tacked-on scene. It didn't flow with the rest of the episode. It was very, very weird. You could tell they didn't make this decision until recently. And so now we're going to wait for an announcement of what the BBC is going to do with Doctor Who, because we know that this season's come to an end. There's nothing really there. And at the same time, wow, the reaction has just been universally negative across the internet. And there's a reason they're doing this. I think Russell T Davies has been influenced by the comic book industry in about everything that he's done. And unfortunately, what the comic book industry has done is really sunk their own brand. But he's making the exact same mistakes because all the comic book industry does in the American comic book industry with Marvel and DC Comics, if you guys are from the UK and the like, that's basically all that comes out. It's the new Spider-Man issue every month, the new Superman issue every month, the new Batman issue every month. And they can't have things progress or have real continuity because they're trying to, of course, keep the properties going forever for the licensing. And, of course, BBC makes most of its Doctor Who money off of licensing as well. It's very similar. And so what they do is they do stunts, gimmicks, and things that are going to eventually revert to something else. So it's never going to actually have any impact. And that's exactly what I feel like Doctor Who's really done over the last couple of seasons, trying to give you nostalgia bait, give you this like kind of stunt, and it's not working. All it's doing is turning off your hardcore fans because nothing matters. What's the point? It's all pointless anyway. Is what you're telling the fans. The continuity doesn't matter. The whole way that regeneration, all that works, doesn't matter anymore. None of this matters. We can change it at a moment's notice because wibbly wobbly timey wimey, right? And while that was a cute line from Matt Smith, right, back in the day, it's something that like you can't just hand wave all this stuff away with the major plot points, with the major history going on. And with doing this kind of a thing, it just wrecks everything it touches. And that's where we're at now. It has wrecked everything it's touched. So let's get into this Billie Piper news. Yes, Gatwa regenerated into Billie Piper. It's real. I'm very, very sick, as you can probably hear in my voice. I don't even want to be recording today, but this is just too big of news. We have to do it. So please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here, guys. And I reported on this stuff really early. If you guys didn't know, we had the rumor a couple weeks ago, May 15th. I also had alleged plot leaks with Jodie Whittaker showing up, which is a whole different deal. I'm going to do a review of the full episode, including the Jodie Whittaker stuff, in a separate video because the Billie Piper thing is a big enough thing by itself. We got to do it. But I've been covering this the whole way. As you could tell, this is our Fandom Pulse Substack. I'd like you to sign up here just because like this is where our news is at all the time. This is where my new article's at. I just did this morning as well. I'm also a science fiction writer, and I'd like you to sign up for my newsletter. So these are two different things. It's homework, I know. And you never tell an audience, rule number one, by the way, of marketing, never tell an audience to do two different things. You have to tell them one thing, and you have to be consistent with that. But I'm bad at that, and it's because I've got a lot in my head going on. I'm a journalist, and I'm a science fiction writer. And I also write a lot of comic books. So I know how science fiction writing and comic books go. So if you like that kind of thing, you get 3 free books for signing up. I give you a $50 value for nothing. A sci-fi book, a fantasy book, and a superhero graphic novel. So I've had a lot of experience with writing in this stuff, and you're going to love it. We've got some great stuff coming up if you are a big sci-fi fan. I want you in on this, and I also want to make sure you follow the journalism. So 2 different things. Creative and journalism. We do both. I do both full-time. Work really, really hard on this stuff, as you could tell. So thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate how we've been growing. We just hit 15,000 followers on X, and we're getting close to 5,000 Fandom Pulse subscribers. We're getting close to 8,000 newsletter subscribers. It's all growing because people are starved for alternatives to this stuff because these idiots have gone in, and I don't know what it is. I mean, what's the psychology behind Russell T Davies at this point? Is he just like, does he really believe what he's doing? Does he intentionally want to just destroy this? I mean, I could see it going either way because if you watch his interviews and his just abject narcissism and abject focus on his identity politics, that's all he cares about. You could tell that he's just like trapped in that. And that's exactly what's lashing out through this. And you could tell he really despises the fans for calling him out on it. We're supposed to just love it. Russell T Davies owns Doctor Who. He's the guy who brought it back. We're supposed to worship him. Whatever he does, we're just supposed to consume, and get excited for next Doctor, right? And so they have this entitled attitude that you are really just supposed to like it no matter what if you're a real fan. That's what they've tried to fight with you. And in fact, in the storylines this year, that's all it's been about. The people who are following along and following the Doctor, and then there's those pathetic people. And the Doctor, that the bad guy who's Ruby Sunday's like kind of ex-boyfriend or whatever is an exemplification of you, the fan. And they tell you you're never going to amount to anything. Really, it's part of this episode. I'm kind of conflating the reviews and stuff, but this is where it goes. And so, what's his motive here? I don't know. I mean, it's so crazy. You look at this, and any sane person, any person who has any modicum of business sense goes, okay, Billie Piper as the Doctor, bad idea. Do you really have a storyline of this that's going to be like how this works or is interesting? Because it doesn't make any sense. The bi-generation thing already screwed things up, doesn't make any sense too. But they wanted to keep doing that, and they wanted to push this stuff even further, and they wanted to just get away from just classic Doctor Who. I mean, I've been watching a lot of classic Doctor Who, and it's like not even the same show. I mean, you don't get Daleks or Cybermen or Space Invaders or anything. You're getting weird fantasy. You get magic. You get people making wishes. I mean, it's really weird. I'm fighting against gods. It reads like a Neil Gaiman novel. It doesn't read like Doctor Who. And that's not a good thing. And so that's what they've gone with this now. So this is a stunt, obviously, right? I mean, anybody who sees this goes, this is a publicity stunt. Because nobody's paying attention to Doctor Who. If you watch my video yesterday, there was no media lead up to this. Everybody had given up on it. The media had given up on it. People are not talking about the show. People are not watching the show. The overnight ratings have come in. It's about 2.11 million. So people did tune in for the finale because they want to see the end of it. People want the regeneration, but not that much. I mean, that's still really, really bad ratings for Doctor Who. And so they needed a stunt to get you paying attention again at all. And they got the whole internet. The whole internet went ablaze on this for sure. And it was crazy yesterday. I couldn't believe how much Doctor Who content was on just even normies' feeds yesterday because they go, this is stupid. And that's what they do. And that's what the comic book industry does. Like I said at the beginning of this video, they started, I noticed this trend back in the mid-2000s. And the comic book industry in the 90s would do these stunt events that would get people going and lining up outside of comic shops. So you remember the death of Superman, right? And it would get media attention all over. Everybody was talking about it. Like I said, people were lining up for the issue to see Superman die for real this time. Well, of course they're going to bring Superman back. They it's obvious. Batman gets his back broken and he's replaced by another Batman because he can't even do it anymore. Another big stunt, right? And so they started doing these stunts, and they started doing events that changed the entire universe and reset the entire universe every single time. Well, those events are fun, and a lot of those were well written. Death of Superman and the Batman Breaking It Back were really well written. But what ends up happening is, like, when you raise the stakes that much, and this isn't what's done here. This is what's been done in David Tennant and Matt Smith and the like. With these universe-ending like big specials that they did. When you've raised the stakes that much and it's gone so crazy, where do you go next with it? And this is the problem with multiversal, big universal, universe-ending, sort of plot lines like this, is that once you hit that point, you can't get that high again. It's very, very difficult because, okay, he's going to save the universe again, right? The Doctor is going to risk death again. So once your viewers have all seen that, what do you have left, right? And this is part of why, as a writer, it's actually important, and this is what I got to say with science fiction writing, to hold back to some degree. You don't want to blow that like complete high until you're certain this is the last story I'm going to tell with this, because otherwise everything else always feels like a letdown. And that's where they got to. And so because of that, what did they do? And so Marvel started doing this in the 2000s, like I said, in DC Comics. Civil War, it's Captain America on one side, Iron Man on another side. They hate each other. They eventually put that into the movies too. And then they eventually did these world-ending events and stuff, and they did it in the Marvel movies too, right? And Endgame as a movie. What do you do after Endgame? Well, the next stunts that you have to do is replacement characters. And it's like, to get the media attention at this point, well, the storyline's not going to do it anymore because you've already gone as exciting as you possibly could go. So the replacement character is it. And that's exactly what they've been doing over and over. That's what they're doing in Marvel. Yeah, Ironheart's coming out, the replacement black female Iron Man, right? Ms. Marvel, the Muslim girl, right? And it's not exciting. It's just like, there's a Echo, the deaf girl. Oh, okay, cool. She's deaf. Those things are not exciting inherently. They're not storylines inherently. And they might get you some news headlines, and that's exactly what they're trying for. But the fans don't tune in because the fans just go, okay, this is stupid, because it's insulting to your intelligence is what it is. And so when they tried it with Jodie Whittaker, the doctor's female now, it just removed a portion of the fans. After the initial hype of it, which, they hype it up, it ends the fans. Oh, the doctor's black now. Okay. The initial hype went, it ended the fans, right? And so they're trying it again because this is all they have. This is the only card they have left. And it's really, really tough because, as I said, they did their best storylines 20 years ago, and they can't do it again. They can't build higher than that because there is no higher than that. And so they only know one thing, which is nostalgia and stunts, and that's it. And so all they're going to do, if you notice everything RTD did this he always put in Tom Baker images and William Hartnell images into the last season of Doctor Who, just so you remember, they trotted out Susan for a little bit, which they completely ignored and didn't follow up on. But hey, this is they brought back David Tennant for the 60th anniversary specials. This is all they have: stunts. And he's made out with a man now, and identity politics stunts and nostalgia. So they wanted more identity politics with this. Obviously, I mean, making the Doctor a woman again is the most retarded thing you could possibly do at this juncture. If you wanted to reset things, you have to reset. What I'd do as a writer is I'd reset it. You get a normal white male Doctor Who feels like the Doctor. Maybe somewhere in between in between, I'd go halfway in between David Tennant and Peter Capaldi. Peter Capaldi brought the gravitas and brought the age to it. David Tennant brought the wackiness and brought just a huge charisma to it. If you get some guy probably in his mid-40s or something like that who has a little bit of that, I think you'd be fine. And what you should do is ground it. And you remember, I think it was the Fourth Doctor, right? How they grounded everything because of budgetary restrictions, and they brought him back to Earth. I'm going back to way back Doctor Who, guys. I'm sorry about that. Which one? Was it the Fourth Doctor? Or was it the Third Doctor? I can't remember. You guys can tell me in the comments. And as much as that felt like it wasn't exciting back then, even though it kind of got into color, so it was, and he was always on Earth and whatever, that is kind of what's needed to end the over-the-top wackiness of the universe, multiversal, everything, and reset it so that the audience has just their perceptions reset so you can tell great stories and build great characters again. That's what they should do. But this is not what they're doing. They're doubling down. This is a identity politics solidarity move, and they're trying to mask it. And you love Billie Piper, don't you? You're not going to criticize Billie Piper like you did Gatwa because you're a bigot. You loved Billie Piper. Now it's mask off. You're a bigot. And that's what they're doing here. They are really digging their feet in, digging their heels in, saying you better watch it now, fans, or else. And it's ugly. And it's really, really sad. Now, their reaction's not been positive. They posted the official Doctor Who account. They've been deleting a lot of comments. I don't know why mine wasn't deleted, but I've watched this. There's been comments, tons of them, and they've been deleted. Doctor Who should have ended here. Star Whovian's a great account right here. Gatwa was incredible Doctor, if not the best. Okay. That's not a verified account. What happened to Ncuti Gatling's Doctor? It's funny. This episode felt more like a pro-life and conservative than the rest. Belinda's entire story arc and the entire personality has been scrambled to being a mother. Wow. Maybe it was based. I don't know. I still love you. Don't disappointed how Doctor didn't even try to find the baby's family. Yeah, that stuff. His RTD's ego so big to the point where he needs to keep writing Doctor Who as if it were still 2005 to 2009, I guess. And this is a pretty good meme right here. Remove Russell T Davies from Doctor Who. Russell T Davies is a problem at this point, and it's clear he does not, have the wherewithal to be writing science fiction like this. In fact, he's not even trying to write science fiction anymore, and that's part of the problem. So, oh well. That's it. I hope that analysis of the comic book industry was helpful because it kind of shows exactly the trends and patterns they're going to go through. You can watch it in real time. This is somewhat worse, believe it or not. I mean, it's the main. It's like turning Peter Parker's Spider-Man into a gay black man. Wait, they kind of did that with Miles Morales, huh? I guess it is just following the exact same patterns. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to sign up for the Phantom Pulse Substack. Two homework assignments, guys, because this is where I've got my written news away from algorithms and things like that. And also my newsletter where I've got my science fiction because I've got a lot of cool books coming out, and I want you guys in on this as well. Thank you guys so much for being here and for supporting our art, for supporting our journalism. I'm really proud of the fact that we blew these stories open before anybody else did. We had it on Phantom Pulse first. And this has been a pattern that's been going on over and over and over again, is Phantom Pulse has just been outdoing other media outlets. And so thank you guys for reading. Thank you for watching. We'll see what happens next. All right, now let me collect my thoughts for my Doctor Who review of the episode because, oh my gosh. I'll talk to you guys soon.